Okay, let's do example 1 together. I kind of explain to you the steps and the blanks. Okay, we're going to add -5/6 to 1/4. Okay, notice on the left-hand side, I kind of have the abbreviated steps. Okay, we're going to write both numbers as fractions. We're going to make sure we write them with the least common denominator. We're going to add the tops, keep the bottom, and we're going to simplify. Okay, so for this problem, the first thing we want to do is to write both of these numbers as fractions. Okay, notice they already are. That's why I have no blanks right there, because that's a done deal. Okay, the second step, write both with the least common denominator. Now you can go up here. I have a spot here for you to put the least common denominator. The least common denominator is the smallest number that 6 and 4 divide into. Okay, now if you don't need to do what I'm going to do right here, but I have a text box sitting here. If you would like to count by 6s and count by 4s and find the least common denominator that way. So if I count by 6s, 6, 12, 18, 24. And if I count by 4s, that goes on and on and on and on. I have 4, 8, 12, 16, on and on and on and on. Okay, the first number that's common in your two lists is going to be the least common denominator. Okay, so it's 12. You don't need to use that text box. Don't do it. I just gave it to you if you needed it. Okay, so the least common denominator is 12. So I'm going to click on the blank and type in 12. By the way, if you click on the blank and nothing happens, just kind of move your pointer over. It's there somewhere. Okay, so there's my 12. Okay, now I need to write both fractions with the least common denominator. Okay, the -5/6. Notice I have it typed again for you. The 1/4, I have it typed out right there for you. So I'm leaving you a place to multiply to get the least common denominator. Okay, so to make 6 into 12, we have to multiply by 2. Okay, but if you multiply the bottom of a fraction by a number, you got to multiply the top by the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to multiply the -5/6 times 2 over 2. Okay, the second fraction. To get from 4 to 12, I have to multiply by 3. Okay, if I multiply the bottom by 3, I have to multiply the top by 3. So I'm just showing what I'm doing. And then you want to write down what you get after you do the multiplication. So if I have -5/6 times 2 over 2, I already have the negative sign sitting there for you. Okay, so 5 times 2 is 10. Type that in. 6 times 2 is 12. Type that in. Second fraction. 1 times 3 is 3. And 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, so second step. We wrote both fractions with the least common denominator. Okay, now we want to add the tops, keep the bottom. I want to show you something. When you add the tops, what I like to do is to just completely ignore the denominators right now. I like to go back to my problem and just look at everything on above. Look at everything above the 12s. Look what I have there. I have a negative, I have a 10, I have a plus, I have a 3. So I'm just going to think of that left to right. -10 plus 3. Okay, so I'm going to type that in. Whoops. So I'm going to click on the top of the fraction and type in -10 plus 3 and keep the 12. That on the bottom. Okay, -10 plus 3. Okay, you're adding a positive to a negative, so you subtract and keep the bigger sign. So that's -7. And then you have the 12. Okay, notice 7 over 12 is reduced. The only thing I want you to know is that it's also okay to take that negative symbol that's in the top and put it on the outside. So negative 7 over 12 is the same thing as negative 7/12. Pause this video as much as you need to, look back over it, but try problem 1. Maybe try to do a little bit more on your own, but use the videos to double check as you go.